James Melendez. On this show today, I'm going to feature this wine. I'm really excited about it. It's called Cremisan. It's Star of Bethlehem. It's a red wine called Baladi. Stay tuned. I'll tell you more about it. So on this wine show today, I'm going to feature this wine coming from the West Bank. And it's exciting to feature because I did feature the white wine, which is called Star of Bethlehem. It is 2 wine grape varieties. It's called Hamdani and Jandali. And this wine grape right here, I'll show you this label. So you can see that it's called Baladi. And so this is the Salesian brothers who make this, the monastery in the West Bank. And this is Star of Bethlehem is the name of this wine. Back label for you to look at. I'll bring that a little closer. I know it's super bright, but it's good to see the label front and back. Now, exciting on many levels. I wrote an article, and I'll post that article right here. It talks about, sure, you can really enjoy things that are local, and the local movement is very exciting. But I also think as a consumer, to buy a wine like this is really exciting because, first of all, you're not going to find this wine variety everywhere. So I did taste West Bank olive oil. I have tasted products from, the furthest far-flung regions on the planet. And to do so is important. I think it's to help people to bootstrap themselves, to have an economy to sell to other places. And I think that's really important to do. I think wine, I feel very sensitive about it. I know a lot of people are like, watch food review shows or restaurant review shows, and the best thing is, oh, well, they feature local wines. That's great. They should do that, but you should also feature, I think, wines from abroad. I push this envelope as much as I can because I think it's important to do. Without doing so, you're not tasting, it's not just buying for buying sake. It's not just supporting for another region's sake. It's actually buying for compelling reasons. Really passionate about it is what we should be doing. After all, there's a lot of things you don't buy that are local. I'm sure citrus for many parts of the world, as well as coffee and chocolate. And so wine should be no exception either. So the wine grape Baladi is a wine grape that I looked at my taxonomy. I looked at other taxonomies to understand, does a wine grape exist? Well, it does exist. So the wine grape is not codified as a red wine grape. So you'll find the Baladi name for a lot of white wine grapes. So I've added this to my taxonomy because I think it's important to talk about, and it's also really important to document. And so you can look at the region. I think West Bank is one of these regions where you're gonna have a lot of table grapes, right? And in that table grape, you can actually, many of them can be vinted. Therefore, maybe something that was typically thought of as a table grape is also a vinting or a wine grape. And I think that's really important to highlight, bring out, and enjoy. Now, I think a lot of people are on the fence on how to serve wines and what's the appropriate way and what's the appropriate region to serve a cuisine with. I try to talk people away from being fearful of it, but to enjoy it and be explorative. There's no completely wrong answer and there's no completely right answer. It's to really, hone together maybe specific things you really enjoy in a wine. Sometimes your favorite wine merchant might really bring that out. So one of my favorite wine merchants is not here in Northern California. I have to travel south to Southern California, High Times in Orange County. Fantastic wine retailer, and they do feature this wine, by the way. And I think that's a really cool thing. You're gonna find by region. It's not just a slim selection, it's a commitment to each region. And I think for a wine retailer, that's a really great signature. So if you feel comfortable with enjoying this with Middle Eastern food, that's what you should be doing. If you wanna enjoy this with pizza or pasta, you can do that as well. Mexican food? Yes, why not? So what I like about this wine is just, that's approachability. I never know what a wine's gonna be like. Nobody does, right? If you've never had a Hamdani or a Jandali, you may be concerned about the flavor characteristics or the weight or the style or the tannins or whatever it might be. Most likely, it's not gonna be a radical departure from what your palate is used to, right? So this is something that I was really allured to, and what might it present to me? So here's the first taste of this wine. So the scent characterization is absolutely stunning. I like the nose on this, and I'm serving this in a nice Oregon Pinot glass or Burgundy glass. For me, I wanted to capture completely fully, and I think to me it's one way of really getting that absolute signature of this wine. So a bit of cherry confit on this. I would say Ethiopian coffee notes. I think lavender is really expressive in this, as well as leaves on a forest floor during autumn. Really, it's that beautiful signature that you get from that characterization, and violets as well. And here we go next at the palate characterization. So on this is mountain strawberry notes, Going back to the cherry and the cassis notes, a bit of that coffee note as well. And additionally on this, the white pepper is really influential. Lavender, so there's some really beautiful floral characterization, but it's really a remarkable wine. To me, it reminds me of slightly like a Primitivo, somewhat like a Zinfandel. This is exactly related to these wines, but it reminds me of, it's reminiscent, right? And so if that's one way of understanding the wine, that's one way of me describing it. And I think it's a really fantastic wine, 92 points out of 100 points. Open your possibilities up to wines from around the world. It's a great thing to do. So the Silesians are mainly in the West Bank, but I understand the property extends into the Jerusalem, Israel side. And there's always people, think about wine, it's people that are producing it, people that are picking it, especially because this wine is hand-picked grapes. And so it always goes to benefit someone, and that's important. But it's a great wine to enjoy, and it's a point of difference. Thank you for watching. You'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. And do me another favor, give a like down here, subscribe, it's right up here, and also questions and comments can be listed there. Thank you for your support. Many more wines to come. I do appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. Santé.